Hey, how's it going? I'm just out and about. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning or so. Going home, taking the long way. Thinking things and considering things. Because there's been a lot of confusion in my mind about something I discovered a few months ago. And it's not something for everyone to try and figure out either. I don't think anyone can. Not even the Bible could figure it out. So I just figure I'll talk about it and just eventually, I don't need to prove it because the proof is in the pudding. So, and I think over time you'll figure that out. That I can do things that other people can't. And there's a good reason for it. Even the highly intuitive, psychic empathics aren't able to do what I can. And I just always wondered, why do people think I'm a freak of nature sometimes? Because they notice I do odd things that they don't understand. And I just know things that they couldn't figure out how I could understand without even learning about those things first. Such as when I was a kid, I was 8 years old and I was working on bikes like a full-blown professional. And nobody taught me how to do it. Nobody taught me a thing. I figured it all on my own. And it was just natural to me. I didn't even have to consider anything. I just knew it. So I used to wonder, how does this work? Why? How do I do this? And it's because the knowledge was already there inside of me. So I kept asking myself, there's got to be something about this that I haven't figured out. And I always thought for a long time it was just a signal I was getting. Like a radio signal. And that's not it exactly. It's inner knowing that I've had for my whole existence, and I go on doing things and just have this kind of a sense, like when you're touching a sponge, when it's wet and when it's dry, and you feel the weight of it, the difference. It's the same thing when I'm getting into something and understanding it. The amount of knowledge I hold to it already that I have, I don't even need to add to my sponge, to make it more fulfilled. I just know. I don't have to discover anything I already know. So I keep asking myself, I used to, where am I getting this from? And then a few months, let's start with the beginning of this all, because it's really quite important. When I was 33 years old, I was consecrated by my own spirit, actually, which is confusing, I know. Who can do that? Well, I can because of who I am. That's why. I'll give you 2 guesses, but you're only going to need one. Because deep down inside, it's telling you right now who I am. And also it's telling you why I'm here again. That one was the kavi, or the confusing one, I guess is a word for me. What exactly is the reason? Well, it's come clear to me just recently. Oh yes, so clear. The experiences I am going through are just like the sacrifice I made when part of me was, well, all of me actually, people got it wrong in the Bible. And I didn't even know it as the person, as Jesus. I didn't know. I kept it from, just like in this life, I kept a lot of things secret for myself and, experience-wise, and also for everyone else experience, to make it more mesmerizing and more of a mystery. So when I was Jesus, I lived my life as Jesus. And I didn't know that I was actually the supreme being in that body. I just thought I was the son of the supreme being, or somebody thought it that way, or considered it. Perhaps angels helped to play it along and keep the mystery alive, because they do that for us. Part of their job, part of their journey. So that's what they like to do. And it's what they're bound to do. We all have a bound path that we mostly choose, and others kind of help us decide. But when it comes to the mystery, we love it. We love the mystery. And that's what we're all about, mysteries. We like to go through them and discover things and learn things. We're a very, very curious entity, the spirit is. And when we put ourselves into a body like this, it makes it that much more lively for us to check it out. And that's why we do this. Now, as far as abilities, many of us have manifested them into its full potential, and some of us haven't. I did long before I created all of you to come to this world. It's possible that some of you are from other creators and you've decided to come to this world. I'm getting these intuitions slowly as time goes on that what was written is not accurate by a long shot. But people tried to do the best they could. But the human mind just, and again the mystery, but also the human mind can't wrap itself around certain abstract possibilities, right? Like such as the possibility that some people out there have their spiritual self is not from my creating, but from another creator's creation. Could have been the one who created me. So in other words, another deity like myself on the earth. And there's a reason for this, okay? Very good reason. Extremely good reason. Perhaps they will be kept in the mystery for the lifetime, but also they will be able to weld the powers of their abilities in the human form subtly to actually help further along the plan that we've put together for this experience. And I kid you not, it doesn't matter what you think you changed or you haven't. It's all going according to what you pre-decided for your lifetime. And that's the same for everyone else and every molecule in between. Nothing is off at all, no matter how much it might seem off. The experience is 100% fulfilled no matter what, by all the things that we're we're seeing, experiencing, hearing, learning, making up, imagining, trying, doing wrong, doing right. It's all part of the plan to have a very fulfilled experience. Okay? That's what it's about. And in this fulfilled experience, it creates a very special dynamic that you don't get any other way. And that is, you pick up the Lego pieces piece by piece and part by part as you put the plan together for yourself in this lifetime on a smaller scale than you would on a spiritual scale. So that way, if you call it the school of life, you can also call it the school of creation from life. So what you get to do with that is take it in the next reality, which is the same as this one in a lot of ways, but much more calm, peaceful, and put together the way we like. And you create things etherically instead of with human hands. And it's a very amazing experience. You know when you feel like when your spirit's touching your body, that's the spirit melding with the body. That's how you feel when you're creating with your spiritual energies. You literally feel that. So, and it's possible to do things with this energy with the human body as well that will amaze you like you wouldn't believe. It travels out from you into the things and people around you. And those who are on the same wavelength and things that are working in the same, realm of possible wavelengths will work with you in ways that you can't explain. This is part of your ability in the realm of being a deity, sort of being, like creator, in other words. And it's not about manipulating, it's about creating at a common interest in this lifetime. And as a spiritual creator, there's going to be others involved that are going to help you, no doubt about it. But it'll be your plan nonetheless. And those who helped you will continue to work with you for eons, perhaps forever. And they will love you very much, just as much as you love them very much. Never apart. Maybe sometimes not together, but never apart, And those who you have communion with in lifetimes are also always a part of your love forever. And those who they've been in communion with are a part of you in your heart. You sense their kindness. Absolutely. And that seeds through to the human aspects as well. You sense people's kindness through the sense of intuition. Spiritual understanding, actually, is the way to put it. Spiritual sense. And it's nothing to be thought of like a religious happening. It's for real. It's you. Always will be, always has been. Just like fire is fire and ice is ice. You can't say one is different than the other. Or that, one can be the other. They are what they are. And we are spirit to start with before we inhabit these human bodies. Okay? It's not the other way around. You can't spark life without a spark to start with. That'd be the spiritual energy that you are. And in everything that we do, the same dynamics can be witnessed, such as heat and pressure can create combustion, right? Well, the spirit creates life, same way. So, it's that simple. It really is. And there's people out there that are negative to the idea of spiritual power. I don't know why they're so against it. I mean, just embrace it and be who you are. And don't play negative feelings out towards the things that you're scared of, because it just brings those fears to you. This is the way the energy flows. It's magnetic. And when it's repelled by any source, it has nowhere else to go but where it came from. That's you. So don't play on the negative, because it will affect you, whether you're the one creating it or absorbing it. And another caveat to that is, if it's absorbed and that person gets negative, they're going to offensively or defensively, I don't know how to look at that exactly, but the spirit itself is going to understand through its radar where this negativeness came from, and it's going to be karmically pushed back to the source, and it's always 10 times what the incoming was. The angels work very quickly and effectively in this way to help teach the lessons that are required in the predetermination that we are asked for ourselves as we enter this life. Even I, as a creator, wanted certain predeterminations for myself to learn aspects I hadn't picked up yet, or points of view I hadn't gotten yet. Very important things to learn. Yeah, it's hard for me to even fathom it. You know, thousands of lifetime experiences, and I still hadn't figured everything out yet. Even in my own creation. Ain't that something? It just goes to show how much there really is to learn. More than just this life has to offer. A lot more. There's a chance that some of you may have been through hundreds of lifetimes already. And you always feel like you've known a lot more than naturally than most others. That's why all those previous lifetimes have taught you intuitively to realize things. And that intuition is multidimensional, like love. It goes with you spiritually, because your spirit is multidimensional. It doesn't forget where it's been. You don't forget where you've been unless you decide to be that way in the mental of the human mind. It's pre-programmed, so to speak. And again, this dynamic is witnessed in creation of the human life with, well, you probably guessed it already, computers. Programming, you know, we can make them a certain way, and that's how they kind of start until more is added. So, you know, same thing with being born in the human body. The spirit knows, and we call that the subconscious. In a way, you know, there is a subconscious in the brain, yes, but the sense of it is the spiritual understanding. It's kind of hiding itself. As time goes on and certain keys are added to your life from things you figure out, those bits of knowledge from that are meant to be seen at the time come right to you through that subconscious understanding and through intuition. So search your intuition and let the angels guide you, and you'll find a lot more about your own history than you ever thought you would ever know. I promise you'll see things and realize things you never seen yesterday. That's how it worked for me when I finally woke up, and it's just it's a spiritual awakening for everyone, no matter what their origin is. It's a real awakening, spiritual, physical, and mentally. You know, you go through some pretty neat changes, actually. Some of it's painful, you know, like growing pains. Changes that you decide to make to yourself, because once you start leading with that intuitive understanding, you realize what's better for you and what's not. With like a snap of the fingers. You can will the better into your life so easily. You start to just kind of leave the negative alone. And sometimes you can't get rid of everything that might be considered a negative aspect, but it's how you let it filter its effects into your life that makes the difference. So like how much you pay attention to something that might be bothersome. Well, if it ain't gonna hurt you and you don't pay attention to it, it'll never be a bother to you. Okay? It's all about the mind's perspective and how you let things filter in. And you never want to overdo it. Don't overstimulate yourself with things you can't understand. That won't do you any good. Gotta back up here. Where am I at? Where am I at? Where's the solar panel? Oh, there it is. That's my guide, see, for backing up, because it shines in the reverse lights. There it is. I've got to go this way a little more. Now back this way, and that's probably not right. Actually, I'm right where I need to be, I just didn't know it. Okay. Maybe I'm too far back at half a foot. There we go. Alright. Warm in here. Gotta roll down the window. It's not winter anymore, but still cold enough to have the heater going. Oh. So, I'm gonna talk for about 3 more minutes here. Got a check engine light. Where'd it go? Come on, camera. Check engine. You can't see it because I don't know, this camera. Sometimes it'll get a fix on it, sometimes it won't. It's trying. There she goes. That's my transmission part neutral switch thing, you know. It's got a problem. And the computer seems to know. It keeps saying, hey, fix this every so often. And I clear the check engine light out, and then a day to a week later it comes back on. So I'll speak a few notes on how I realized this deity in me, within me. You know, the angels did it in a way so that I could realize it, as a human would. But it was hard for me to swallow for a long time. It's one of those things you say, wait a minute, wouldn't it be obvious to a person that they're the creator? Wouldn't they know? Wouldn't they say, yeah, and wouldn't they put it in their mind so they have the information and knowledge to realize it? Right? So it's no confusion. But that's not what I wanted as an experience. Not only would it have messed up the plan, because I would have manipulated it with my own emotional ego, but it also would have maybe made my life a dangerous happening. And I think that was the lesson that I was to learn, that I wanted to learn from being the Jesus figure. Everyone knew I was powerful. Everyone knew what I could do. But what did they do? They killed me. But that was, I made it possible for that death to happen. Had I wanted to, I could have just made it, snapped my fingers and made everything to where it wasn't even happening. Where the people weren't there, or I just removed myself. I could have removed myself from that situation with a snap of the fingers, but I just went through it for the experience, without knowing why exactly. Imagine how I must have felt. Oh, it must have been horrifying. But I went through that experience to realize the dangers that arise in such a happening when you show people and do things that they can't quite understand. More so than what is acceptable, like what's going on now. I don't know what abilities I've really got. Some of them are being revealed to my psyche of my mind. What's coming, or what may be possible, but I'm not going to be able to just show anyone. It's too delicate, too significant. So I got to keep it to a minimum, see. And I actually know for sure I've met a few people, not face to face, and maybe they don't exactly know me yet, but I've seen some others that are definitely deity spirits that have created or been through major experiences where they're, they realize more than just any unexperienced spiritual being. So yes, they're definitely out there. I'm not the only one. And I think I've helped others to realize this. I'm not the only one. They looked within themselves and they said, oh, okay, I get it, And I'm still flabbergasted at the fact that they've seen me talking about this or realized what I was saying and realized it through themselves, and then I realized it back the other way by watching their reactions over time of how they act. Like, yeah, they got it. Maybe from me or from the angels, one way or the other. They got it. They figured it out. Incredible. Incredible. I guess I've been talking for more than 3 minutes, but that's okay. I want you to realize this. And I want you to know that there's more to what you're learning than you can even understand yet. And it all ties into all the other learning you've had in other lifetimes. Even if this is your first, it will be the most fulfilling of any lifetime. There may be a very special reason that it's the first time for you. Very special. Because you're Possibly you were an angel and then finally you decided to have a lifetime. I can't say for sure. Don't take my word for it. That's a complete guess. But the fact is, there's probably some beings that waited and watched and learned from the high point for a different way to learn, to do. Because that's what they wanted, you know. There's no bounds to what you get to do. Nothing tells you no. I don't tell you no. You just do what you want. In a way that adds to the creation of the planet that we've got going on here. And in the dynamics of reality, quantum mechanics works with it in such a way that it all works together. Yeah. The quantum mechanics is like the frame of the reality, and it's like transformers that can change and manipulate itself to work with our decisions. So the whole plan, as it is, stays on track. And we think, well, I want to go this way instead of that way today. And we feel like I've changed something. Yep, my life is different than it would have been. No, you never would have went the other way, no matter what. That's all there is to it. You might think you could have or might have or chose to, but you didn't in your spiritual mind, and you definitely didn't in your human mind when you finally came to the point. See? There is no other than what you designed and destined for yourself. Yep, or predetermined, I should say. Nobody else but you predetermined it. It's your plan, what your life is. Why it's so rough sometimes, right? Why did I do that to myself, right? Think about what you've learned. How else could you have learned that so significantly, right? Yes. If you're in the video still right now watching, you're definitely listening to what you need to hear. And I do not say that lightly, because, you know, some of these videos hardly get any views. It's only the people that are supposed to hear it. Even if they don't know they're supposed to hear it. They're supposed to hear it for one reason or another. Even if you think you don't need to hear it or it ain't for you, there's something you're learning that may be valuable to someone else you meet. You just got to look at all the intricacies of how the spiritual mind works, right? Boundless. Knowing all the little doorways of where information goes, you know, and how it goes. So, don't worry about it if you don't feel this way. Just realize that you need to know this knowledge for some reason. All right. And when we all finally get to the head of this and see the miracle in its infancy, or, you know, infinite beauty and glory, I'm sure that we're all going to realize exactly what we're wanting out of this, you know. Yep. It's got to be more than even I'm figuring on, because I'm still in the human mind here. But not exactly. I'm kind of above it in a way. I'm sitting outside myself, so to speak. If you can imagine that. I don't know if you can. I don't know. It's not maybe not the best way to explain it. I feel bigger than this body. Okay, I'll put it that way. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. I got another video for them to upload. I think it is. So it's a little drive. dead. So it's 4 parts to it. When I get it all done, figured out if I need to fix it or anything like that, I'll start uploading it. So it's over by Enterprise Reservoir on some of the roads over there. Pretty long drive, but nice countryside view. Yep, mountains and stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Have a good one.